Previously on Salty Tadpoles Part 1.
So how have you guys been?
Not too bad, not too bad. The work on my house is nearing its conclusion. The decorator's finished today, finally. Done a very good job, so a few of the little things to touch up and we should be, building-wise, we should be okay.
Did he manage to get the mink fur lining put on your holes?
That's what needs touching up, Dan.
Yeah.
So Andy, how have you been?
I've been not too bad, thank you. Not much to really complain about.
Good.
Yeah. Although Levi has been romping around aggressively again. I got another text from the neighbour.
Oh no.
Oh dear.
Yeah, so, yes, Tiger Slug is a naughty boy.
Oh,
What's been happening?
Well, he's been going into one of my neighbours' houses, terrorising their cats, and over the weekend, chased one of them into their bedroom and woke them up.
Oh dear.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can see how that'd annoy them.
Yeah, and he's been annoying me because he's been climbing onto my pillow at 4 a.m. and then lying on my head purring, so that's waking me up. It's been a real git at the moment.
This hasn't been clawing at you.
No, I've just been getting the odd paw to the eyeball or to the back of the head.
They're always like, oh, I really only came in for some butter and look how much I've come in. I've got eggs and I've got bread and I've got this and I've got that.
Or they go, oh, it's not all for me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
One of my favourite things at the moment when I'm just buying something that's like clearly lunch related, so like if it's a sandwich and a drink or whatever, and then they try to give me a receipt, I go, don't really need that, I don't think you want it back after me.
That's a good point.
So basically, Gemma, you are going to become that old lady. That's your point now. When you get older, you're like, I only came in for a few things. Ooh, look at all this stuff I bought. You know it's going to happen. There'll be so many people in the queue behind you going, for God's sake.
My lease car that I got from my car was in repair.
Yeah.
It had actual little bits of metal sticking into the door frame that you had to push up and down manually. You had to manually adjust your own mirrors. Can you imagine the horror?
Yeah.
The sweat that was pouring off of my brow was unbelievable. I had to get out for a lie down.
I bet your hands and your wrists were just in agony, weren't they? The shock of having to adjust the mirrors without just pressing a button, it's terrible.
I could barely hold the steering wheel.
Was the sweat running to your eyes?
It was. I couldn't see, and that was before it took 15 minutes for it to demist.
You poor man.
It was horrific. It absolutely was horrific. And it had a manual handbrake, so I'd already lost strength in my biceps because trying to yank that up.
As I say, there's no arm strength for us anymore because we don't have proper handbrakes.
It was a two-hander, just one click at a time.
Oh, dear.
Oh, the horrors. And this was the shocker. This was the absolute shocker.
Go on.
It had auxiliary in and a USB connection, but would not support the USB connection for my phone. And I had actual radio to listen to. I mean, I couldn't. I had to turn it off. I had to turn it off. I drove in silence.
Wait, just to check. Andy, it wasn't FM radio, was it?
It was FM or AM. I had a choice, and I was like, no.
Oh, dear God.
I'd be with you actually with the radio.
Yeah. If I can't listen to podcasts or my own music, silence it is.
Yeah.
Just nothing but me and road noise. I think that's more from like the Mumsnet type of posters.
What are you doing on Mumsnet?
Yeah. Why are you
I'm
on
not actually on Mumsnet, but
Oh, listen to that back.
this is a bit of an insight into my world.
What, you spy on Mumsnet?
No. So,
Oh, I'm looking for a loose lady.
yeah.
I'm looking for a single mother.
Oh, which thing can I wade into with my lack of parenting knowledge?
See who picks what.
I mean, you still think dickheads is offensive. I don't think that is.
No. That's white, maybe.
The wankers.
Yeah. There's lots of people calling them wank stains. So I lovely wank stains.
Call them the tadpoles.
Yeah.
Or sperm.
Salty tadpoles, was that?
Oh, shall we call them the salty tadpoles?
Yeah, I say we go the salty tadpoles.
Oh my god.
No, we don't need any vote. Go with that. Salty tadpoles. You win.
This is my ad libbing has given you a name.
Yep. Dear sweet salty tadpoles.
And now, the thrilling conclusion. Part 2.
Right, so should we get on to our topics that we wanted to discuss, or is there anything else that anybody else wanted to discuss beforehand?
Well, I think that your Comic-Con segues on nicely to James.
Okay.
Yes.
Go on then, because this is a surprise to me.
Yeah. It was a bit, interested to hear the listeners' views and to also hear your view on this, Gemma. Now, it was in the news that there is a French cosplay artist called Alice Livenard who has been in trouble because she's cosplayed as a character, I believe, called Pike. And she's now been back. Now, Pike is some sort of like, I think, not even a real person. It's some sort of big, it's supposed to be a male, but some sort of very strange looking creature cosplay character. But she's now been banned from dressing as this character because it is believed, or it has been put forward, that the character is now racially insensitive. Because this character of Pike is believed to be black. But to me, Pike doesn't even look like a human being. So I find it very strange that she's been criticised and banned from going to something because it's deemed the fact that she's gone in blackface because she's going as a completely fictitious character, doesn't even exist, and it's sort of like almost a cosplay character, and I just find it really strange that people are saying this to people. They can't go as a character that's not even a real, sort of person.
I struggled with this.
Yeah.
With this question.
I am a bit as well.
Because I was thinking, okay, what if I wanted to go as B.A. Baracus, Mr. T, from the A-Team, but rather than putting makeup on, I got a Mr. T mask. Mr. T is not a real person, but he's still a person of colour.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So is that equally offensive?
This thing does, but this character, this character doesn't even look like a human being. Though,
yeah.
If you look at it,
I think it's not the fact that she dressed up, because she could have dressed up in cosplay and maybe not done the. I know it's tricky, isn't it? Because with cosplay, you kind of do want to do the best job ever and be exactly like the character. But she knew that there was going to be a line that she would be crossing. It's I'd never put blackface on.
But this character does not look like a sort of blackface character. This is the confusion I have. It's Pike, this thing is a complete fictitious character. And you look at pictures of the Pike character, I would not.
I'm going to Google it a second because I don't really.
Yeah.
She may have made a completely genuine mistake, but her push seems to become this character, to do this character. But I, in no shape or form, would associate the character with the black person. Looking at that picture.
What is it from? Because there's a lot of things coming up.
If you go on the BBC website and just put in Comic Con bans cosplay champion to blackface entry. But the other thing you'd ask is, well, if you're going to take a shot at her for dressing up as Pike, which is, I assume, a male character, is it incorrect that someone would dress up as a character that's in their gender? Where do we draw the line? Because you could argue she's dressed up as a character that isn't even real.
I think where I struggle with your particular line of argument is Blade. So if you looked at the comics and did a cosplay of the comic character, much like this French person did of the character that she did, it's not based on an actor's, well, I guess it is an actor, but it's a fictional graphic rendition.
Yeah.
Is that the same argument? That you should not dress as a white person, you should not dress up as Blade. So where I draw the line with, we'll call it blackface. I don't think that's the right term. It's a catch-all. I think fancy dress, there is a definite line because fancy dress is really about ridicule and poking fun at the characters you're dressed at. Cosplay is not. Cosplay is a tribute.
Yeah.
And I don't think offense should be taken because it's not there to ridicule, it's there to promote, to say, I think this character is the best, and that's why I've chosen to come here today as this character. So I think there's a little bit of oversensitivity, but I can understand that point of view.
I do get it. I do get it to a degree. If you went in and you are a white person, blatantly, obviously, appearing to try and be a black person, there's an issue there. But again, you're right. Could it be seen that someone's trying to do a tribute, that they're not trying to be insensitive? The problem we've got in arguing this, though, I guess for all of us, is we're all white. So we can't see it from a black person's point of view. But the thing when I look at Pike is I don't even really see anything that's an obvious gender, an obvious race. I
do. The one I'm looking at, he's wearing a bandana around his face that look like fangs.
Mm-hmm.
But if you look above the what's supposed to be the mouth, that is a blatant black person's head with black person's torso and black person's arms with tattoo. I can see that is a black male wearing a costume, and he's wearing a bandana across his face that look like alien jaws.
Yeah.
Because you can see the crease of the fold of the fabric where it drapes down and then hits his chest. That very muscular, taut chest.
Oh, it's very nice, isn't it?
Yeah. I'm jealous.
I think Andy's got very excited.
Yeah. Excuse me, I need some tissues and some moisturiser.
I thought you meant that she'd actually done blackface, because I'm looking at the picture of her and she hasn't. And so I was like... That's
the confusion I have with it, you see.
Yeah, so she did decide that I suppose in that case then, because it was a misunderstanding before. So the fact that she hasn't actually done the blackface, is a good thing. Oh, it's so tricky, isn't it? Because if she'd have been in the wrong either way. So yeah, in some ways maybe she shouldn't have done it, but at the same time, the whole nature of cosplay is experimenting and seeing how far you can go with a character, isn't it?
Yeah.
I think the sad thing is she wouldn't have meant any harm by it.
No.
You know, she did this as a tribute. Now, I'm not saying it's right or wrong. I just find it hard because you've got to argue, where do you draw the line? If it's fake, if it's not a real person. I mean, I don't think she meant anything bad by it. And I guess looking at what you said, Andy, I can sort of see where some people would be offended, but I don't know.
If you're doing it for authenticity, this is my, as you know, like you, from a position as a white male, I'm looking at it going, well, this isn't Justin Trudeau.
Yeah.
This is a genuine person who does this for a living and does it to the characters that inspire her or amaze her. You know, this is something that she wants to promote and get other people into that character.
Yeah.
So you should not take offense from that. You should almost be lauding her for doing that. And it's a bit of oversensitivity on other people's part to be crying wolf. And maybe it's a bit of, virtual signalling. So people who wouldn't even be butthurt by this getting butthurt just to show how woke they are.
Yeah, to jump on the bandwagon.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, the other argument is that she's actually a female.
Yeah, well, that's what I was sort of saying, the fact that where does it go from a gender standpoint? You're saying that people cannot... And this is where it gets difficult. Could you say to somebody who's a transvestite then, well, you can't dress up as this character that's female if you're male, and vice versa?
So many times at Comic-Con have I seen a man dressed up as a woman.
Well, Rocky Horror Show would be out as a...
Yeah.
But being serious, would you then turn around and say, well, that's unacceptable?
No.
What you're doing is wrong. You wouldn't.
No, I would just go, dude, that looks amazing. How are your feet in those heels? But, you know, I would have a jolly good time with it, you know, sort of thing, and see the nature of what it is. But unfortunately, as the years are now, it is a tricky one that people just get butthurt about everything.
To sit on the fence and play devil's advocate, and I apologise for my wording here, but how many times have you seen someone who is not white up to play a character, either as fancy dress or as cosplay?
Yep.
I've never seen anyone white up. I've seen people brown up, black up, and yellow up. Not personally, but you know, online and on TV. You know, but I've never seen whiting up, and I think that is really, you would never see someone who is not white wanting to be Superman and then whiting up to play Superman, or putting on a latex costume.
Yeah, exactly.
To play Superman.
Exactly.
They'll play if they were black, they'll play a black Superman, Asian, an Asian Superman. Yeah.
Do you know what the saddest thing is? That you take race away, you take, basically what I'm trying to say is that when you strip down the human body, so yeah, we're going back to stripping down the human body again, but, you know, once you take all of the different organs out, like vagina and stuff like that, once you've taken all that away, we're all exactly the same.
If you cut your finger, everyone bleeds red.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You can't survive without a beating heart.
No, you can't.
In
some ways, people have lost sight of that. That I know that's kind of off topic very slightly, but it's just the fact that people have lost sight of the fact that people are human and they're going to make mistakes. And I feel like I've gone into a preachy voice now, but still.
But it goes back to what we were talking about last week, or the week before, sorry, when the last time the three of us were together.
Yeah.
We all want to get to a phase now where who you are, what you look like doesn't matter. It's whether you're a good person or a dickhead that really matters.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
But I guess we've got to go through all of this before we can get to the other side. But could we just hurry up?
Yeah.
Before I die or get too old to enjoy life any less than I do now.
Anyway, change the subject. Oh dear. So yeah, I don't know. Going back to it, James, I
just found it a very difficult one to work out how this. You could argue there's been a bit oversensitivity, but you could also argue the fact that people will be offended by it. but I don't know. It's a hard one. I can't answer it. I can't really get my head around it, if I'm honest. But
Yeah.
I guess it comes down to that we should all just not do anything.
that could offend anybody. Well, that is the worry, that it could end up that way, that everyone's terrified and of stepping on eggshells all the time.
Yeah, see, I live by the rule of do what you want with love in your heart. I'm going to go all girly again, but do what you want with love in your heart. But if you get it wrong, apologise, you know? So you never meant to get it wrong. But if you do get it wrong, you just apologise. And you say, hold your hands up and say, I'm very sorry, you know, kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
But in the world of social media, that's not allowed.
It's
anymore.
impossible.
You have to be burnt at the stake and vilified.
Well, I don't care.
Yeah.
Honestly, I don't care. That is how I choose to live my life, and that is how I'm going to live my life. So if people decide to make me a villain, then they're going to make me a villain. But I am who I am, and no one can change me.
We try, salty tadpoles. We try, but it don't work.
We do.
Oh dear, but yeah, I mean that's just me, you know. That's how I've been brought up, kind of as well. You know, as long as you always do things with love in your heart, then you normally can't go wrong.
I'm sorry the 3 people died, but I did have love in my heart.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna kill anyone.
No, you didn't mean to set out to kill anyone, but
Yeah.
you had love in your heart, whatever you were doing. But 3 people died.
Oh, shut up. I'm not going to ever kill anyone.
Apart from Andy.
Yeah. No, I wouldn't even kill Andy. I'd miss him too much, to be honest. But shh, don't tell him.
Little did she know that when she had love in her heart and gave me that gentle shove near the cliff edge, that I would stumble over a stone and fall off the edge. But she did it with love in her heart.
Yeah. Has your body splattered all over the rock?
Oh, no. It's not Halloween anymore, guys.
With the love seeping out of my heart.
Yeah.
Well, it was nice to finally see you had one. Ooh.
It was that shriveled prune thing.
It shrunk about, 10 sizes too small.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, we have to get Andy to play the Grinch at Christmas.
Oh, fuck, that's coming up soon, isn't it?
Yeah. Don't need to talk about that yet, though.
Oh, yeah, can we go back to the beginning? My Codswallop for this week is I've seen my first Christmas advert on TV.
Yeah.
Going to Starbucks, they've got the Christmas drinks, everything ready.
Everything is Christmas already. I mean, it is November, so...
Yeah, still 30 more days before officially they should start advertising.
Yeah, I suppose.
On the first day of Christmas, my true love said to me, stick telly on, adverts are started.
On the second day of Christmas, Starbucks brought to me.
I'll take a spiced Christmas pudding latte, please. Can I get that with soya milk? And fair trade coffee beans, squeezed through the sweaty palms of a human being who has paid a decent living wage.
That drink will exist soon now. You know that.
Yeah.
And no plastic, no. Just put it in this brown paper bag.
Yeah. Yeah. Just pour it directly into my mouth.
Yeah.
Oh, do you know what the funniest thing is that's going to happen?
Yeah.
We can't have plastic straws anymore.
Oh,
Hi, do you have any of those new Hessian straws that I hear about?
Yeah. Yeah.
do you know what though? Paper straws are really pissing me off.
Oh, the crap.
They are. It's like if you go to McDonald's and you get a drink, it just dissolves before you even get liquid into your mouth. Which I don't necessarily agree with the plastic ones, but it's like, if I had a preference, it would be a plastic straw in that situation.
And that is how McDonald's are helping the nation and the world with their obesity crisis. Just look at the sugary drink and look at it.
Just feel bad about the fact you've ordered it.
Yeah, because you can't drink it. Yeah. It's like if you get one of those really thick milkshakes that they do, and you've got this really pathetic paper straw, it's like...
You feel your eyes popping, bursting a blood vessel in your eyeball.
Oh, yeah, exactly. So I'm all for the environment and whatnot, but paper straws do annoy me. Well, it seems like the Codswallop continues.
Yeah.
Oh, should we get on to our fireworks topic?
Yes.
Yes. To take this episode out on a bang,
She's here all week, people. She's here all week.
Yep. On a bombshell.
Yeah.
Okay, so the question that we asked to our lovely, I was going to say our lovely listeners, but that's not what we call you anymore.
Our lovely salty tadpoles.
And to our lovely salty tadpoles is a question for this week's episode. I copied Andy's version. Thank you, Andy, for that, because otherwise I was going to write band wrong, like I did in our chat. So I appreciated that. Should fireworks be withdrawn from sale to public? Should public displays be banned? So obviously we asked that question to our listeners.
And where did that question come from? So set the scene.
So basically where that came from was I was discussing with my friend who, this is a sort of friend at work, and she has got horses. And now, there's quite a common thing that you think about your dogs, your cats, and all the other kind of pets like that, the household pets. But it wasn't until she sort of brought it up that her horses are out in a field.
Yeah.
Which actually, in her case, is actually quite lucky because they don't really get scared off by anything because she's kind of trained them quite well to sort of be aware of noises but not react to them, But she was telling a story about her friend who had a horse, and basically because all the fireworks were going off and all the bangs and everything, that the horse ended up running into sort of the electric fence, getting tangled up in it, but ended up dying because of a heart attack because of all the noise and stuff, because it then couldn't move because it was then so tied up with the wires and stuff like that. And that's kind of where that question really came from. So I was interested to sort of see what people thought, and I didn't want it to be everybody answering the same way, which is quite nice because actually, there's quite a few people that have answered the same way, but there are other people that got different viewpoints.
And that's why I threw in the public displays.
Yeah.
Because it's the same. If you ban it from sale from the general public to get rid of the effect that it has on animals, and as someone quite rightly raised, humans, then it should be banned completely.
Yeah, exactly. Or if it's like, I was talking to my mum earlier, we were talking about the fact that it was kind of like specific days of the year. Like when I was growing up, it was mainly November 5th, which is bonfire night in the UK, just in case.
Guy Fawkes, yeah.
Well, whichever you call it, because it's kind of both, isn't it? But I think the fact that you could buy the fireworks on that specific day, but you were limited to a certain amount that you could buy. And if you were then to use it for sort of your own party or whatever, you had to then use them up that evening. And then it was sort of like, it was almost like borderline illegal if you then used it any other day. I might not have that quite right though, because I was only young.
It just wasn't a done thing. You did it on or around basically the weekend closest to the 5th of November.
Yeah.
Is when you did it. And posh people on New Year's Eve.
Yeah, exactly. But 2 days of the year, I mean, that's not a big deal. But now it's like somebody's birthday and they're going off. It's Halloween and they're going off.
A-levels going off.
Yeah, it's every single occasion there's fireworks going off. And it's kind of like, well, I mean, it's just complete overkill, isn't it?
Public events. So concerts will have fireworks, the festivals on the last day, on the last night, they'll have the fireworks. You've got New Year's Eve celebrations in major conurbations.
Yeah.
So, God knows what the pets feel like for those who are down by the Thames.
Oh, God, at New Year, yeah.
Yeah, or at Edinburgh Castle when they're doing not only New Year's Eve, but also the Edinburgh Tattoo.
Yeah.
Oh, God, yeah.
It's a minefield, as most pet owners. It's nothing you can do for them other than do your best to keep them calm and safe.
Yeah.
But in those situations, you're at least having it at a set period when it's going to happen. It's one big set thing. The problem you're seeing now is, like you said, people, for example, it's not like you're going to have them being let off on the 5th or the weekend closest to bonfire night. It's like they're literally just being let off all the time, and it's turning to like almost, like you're being sort of like shelled because you've just got constant fireworks going off and off and off. And it is becoming, it's too much for some people, it's too much for certainly for animals, a very difficult thing. And the problem is it's people with disregard.
Yeah.
You're seeing far, far too many reports in the press of people who are lobbing them at police, lobbing them at, firemen, lobbing them at, ambulance workers, or just letting them off and throwing them at other people.
Or kids getting hold of them and shooting them at each other just as a prank. But obviously it going horribly wrong.
Or you get this idiot who was in the paper recently who'd fired one from his back.
What?
From sticking it down the back of his pants, so it fed out of his butt crack, and it could have basically set himself on fire. How the hell he didn't do more damage? I mean, he needs to win a Darwin Award.
Yeah, I'm all for thinning out the gene pool.
Yeah. I mean, he doing that is one thing. He is up for a Darwin Award, but I mean, it's just stupidity.
Yeah.
I think that comes to the crux of it. I resent having legislation in place to protect me from other people, the minority.
Mm-hmm.
That's what sticks in my throat. But on the flip side, just to ensure that Lacey and Levi have a stress-free time on this planet, it'll be awesome to take one less thing out of the equation, like fireworks.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. For me, it's protection of animals and protection of people.
Yeah, definitely. And at least now you can kind of get those products, can't you, for pets? What's it called? The Flayaway or something?
Fenway,
yeah. So, at least you can kind of, I think those kind of things are on the market, but then it goes, it's more expense, isn't it? For, the people who are just trying to keep their pets calm. Because how were yours two yesterday?
Well, I mean, it's been since Diwali, really.
Yeah.
So it's been the last 2 weekends. They're a bit panicky, so they found little comfortable places near me to wait it out. But last night, as I was saying on the group chat, Lacey wasn't back before it all started, so she basically camped it out somewhere and finally rocked up at about 10ish, got something to eat, and then buggered off out again. So she wasn't overly traumatised, but traumatised enough not to venture back to the house.
Yeah.
Because they're confused, they don't know what's going on, bless them, so they're looking to me, going, what the fuck's going on?
Yeah. Oh, bless them.
But on the horses side, I mean, for those who keep their horses out of the major suburbs and villages, it's not too much of an issue, but it's where you have the yard, the stables, near the suburbs, because there's my old riding school is only 2 miles down the road, and they're building houses all around it. The land's been sold off, so for the horses kept at that yard, it's a bigger problem than where I kept my horse when I was younger, which is a lot further out into the countryside.
Yeah, it is better if they've got a bigger field and stuff.
Yeah, but it's not really the field, it's more the distance away from it happening.
Yeah, definitely. But I was thinking more in the sense that if they're in a field, I suppose they're out and about in it, but if they're in a field, they've got more place to run. Whereas if they were in a stable, they might do more damage because they're enclosed.
But even the fields for the riding school that's just down the road, the stables are located and the fields all around, and the horses will be out overnight because there's more horses than stables, basically. So they're out overnight. So they're right in the thick of it, of the old riding school, and they have been for decades that the school's been there. But the private yard where I kept mine was a lot further away from civilization.
Yeah. Was that my friend Kirsty with her 2 horses? She's quite out in the sticks as well, so it's there's not much of a residential area around her. So I think that's probably why they were okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
more likely to be spooked by a tractor appearing from behind a hedge that they weren't expecting.
Yeah. Well, actually, I think these 2 horses are absolutely fearless anyway. One of them jumps an electric fence on a daily basis, and he's only 2, so he shouldn't really be jumping anyway. The other one was actually riding down the road, sort of walking down the road with my friend, but her little boy was on the back, and she was walking along, but she could sort of hear in the background a car coming. So she kind of pulled over to the side, but was kind of praying, please, to her horse, please don't sort of buck or anything, because her little boy was on top. And he just stood there. The horse just stood there as this car sped past, and obviously she reacted. She was like, slow down, kind of thing. But yeah, the horse was just chilled out. He was just stood there, it was obviously a good thing, because if he had have bucked or whatever, then her little boy would have definitely have been thrown off the horse, Yeah,
I bet she had a hot, sweaty moment.
Oh, yeah, she did. She did. But then also, like, a sense of pride as well, that she's trained him that well. They can actually behave well in that situation,
That's it.
So, yeah. So, did you want to get on to the listeners' views, or James, did you have any views on that?
The listeners' views?
No, just your own, really.
It's a difficult one. I mean, I'm not against people letting off fireworks, but when you look at the sheer amount of noise, the sheer amount of chaos it creates, and when I was working in housing, there was constantly a problem every single year of kids throwing fireworks at each other, throwing fireworks at people, causing damage to things in the area. So, to me, it really has to be something I think that has to be looked at being sold to licensed venues. I think the problem is you are seeing, as you will do with a lot of things, the people who are creating chaos are ruining the whole thing for everybody else. But my worry is that the potential damage and danger and the things that happen to people, the attacks on people working in the emergency services, it really should be something, I think, where they have to really look at selling fireworks just to licensed venues.
Yeah.
Because when it comes to animals, one thing that it wasn't, no, this person didn't respond, but somebody I know, Gemma, who does a lot of things with animals, her dogs are fine with fireworks. And I said, out of interest, how have you managed to do this? Now, she said the thing that she did is, because these animals, they work in films, they go to events, they become used to being around noise and, loud noises and training them. So they can handle these things better. But if you look at it and think about the predominant problem this is causing for people's pets, it really should be looked at. And again, I'd really balance it, as I said earlier, with the thing of when you've got people running riot, creating problems, it doesn't seem a good idea that anybody can buy fireworks. And the other problem is illegal sale of fireworks, where people sell them to kids. So, because I know it's a huge problem for the police and to deal with things like that.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And the other side of it as well is, like, with the personal use of them compared to the public displays. Public displays, literally the fireworks go off and the one after the other, instant, kind of bang, 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 like however long it's on for, 10 minutes or whatever it's on for, but it's constant, So, okay, yes, it's probably quite scary for animals, but it's for that pure 10 minutes.
Yeah.
Whereas with regards to personal use, people are obviously not quite as, au fait with, doing it and whatnot. There's like almost like a 30-second to whatever gap in between each one. So it's kind of like you hear the one and then it's like, oh, what was that? And then you think, oh, it's nothing. And then like a couple of seconds later or a couple of minutes later or whatever, the next one goes off. And I don't know, I guess that could be probably a little bit more traumatizing because it's more like, what is that?
Yeah.
A bit more like a gunshot than potentially a firework or whatever.
Well, we've certainly got a good response from the listener base, haven't we? It's been very interesting to see what we've heard from them.
Yeah, definitely. So, did you want me to go first, or did you guys want to go first?
You can go first if you want, Gemma.
Okay. So, the first one is from Lucy.
Hello, Tadpole.
Hello, Salty Tadpole. And this is from @Catonius. I don't agree with banning the sale, but I think all fireworks for the general public to buy should be made quiet, not just for the animals that suffer, elderly people, people with autism, soldiers with PTSD, etc. I enjoy home displays, but not having a bang doesn't impede anyone's enjoyment. So I think that's quite a good idea. Actually, if you can have them as a silent thing.
Yep.
So it's just all the pretty without the bang.
That's how deaf people have enjoyed them.
Well, that's a very good point. I don't know if you were saying that as a joke, but it is a very good point nonetheless, so.
Yep.
I'll go next. We got a pretty good response through Facebook. Owen Edmonds takes a different view. He says that...
I thought we were doing it by the pictures.
Yeah.
Oh, God. Have I got it wrong? Sorry.
So, Salty Tadpoles, you can see which member of the group wasn't listening at the beginning when Gemma and I were having a passionate discussion.
Yes.
Obviously, I didn't feel it impacted upon me enough. So,
Yeah.
Maybe you just thought, warning, Will Robinson, warning, Will Robinson. You heard the potential tiff that me and Andy were going to have.
Yeah.
Dear Clone Control, please see me immediately. New clone has short-term memory issues. Consider this may be RAM issue.
Yeah.
Love, pleb.
Yeah. Clone 26089. He's recalling. Right. I believe I'm on somebody called 3 Hours Later,
Yes.
who takes a totally polar opposite view. They love fireworks. They're from California. They say there's pretty strict levels regarding the the explosive levels of them, and they can be sold to people, so danger isn't really there, but there is a problem with illegal smuggling of fireworks. Which sort of ties into what we said, to be honest.
Yeah.
The illegal fireworks and them being let off. So, yeah. It obviously showed there is still a problem with people selling them illegally as well.
Yeah.
So, I think this has come from Facebook, Gemma.
Yep.
So there's a few replies on this screenshot. So Erica Fry says, yes. Is that yes to both, Erica, or one or two? What are we yesing about?
Yes.
And Michelle Killick, definitely, but definitely which one? Definitely both. Come on.
Yeah, we did get a lot of yes. We did get a lot of yes answers, to which I did turn around to people and I said, "Not really useful, but thank you."
But you got what you wanted. You got your 15 seconds of fame.
Yeah.
Elaine Louise says, I love fireworks, but I hate people who set them off thoughtlessly. And there are a lot of those. So yes, I believe there should only be licensed displays.
I agree with you, Elaine.
Yeah. Martin Holmes. No, just because some idiots misuse them, why should everyone be punished?
That's a valid point as well, though, isn't it?
Yeah. All in line. That's so these salty tadpoles can remain in the pool.
Salty tadpoles, yeah.
So the next one is Red Band Reviewers, which is a podcast, I believe. Limit public sales to very low, he's put power in inverted commas, fireworks, and increase fines / jail time for anyone who goes over it. Some of my best early memories were fireworks in the garden, but they weren't bombs like these days. #old man.
I have somebody here with a completely different view. Ursula V at Van Booteng says, no, people are becoming so coddled and infantile. FFS. Go to bed and stay there.
Oh, look at James doing his fucking PG version.
Do you know what FF?
I know what FFS means.
Yeah.
I'm keeping it clean for the little swimmers who might be listening.
Okay, there ain't no little swimmers. What's FFF stand for?
For fuck's sake.
Yes, exactly. Good lad.
They're taking a very, very different view to everybody else so far, but we like different views here, so, you know, it's all good.
I don't endorse this one.
Can I just say, before you say anything, I think Walt sent this to us. But go on.
So this is from Ghosts of Stratosphere at Got Stratosphere. Anyone over the age of 8 who is still impressed by fireworks is weird. And I say this as an adult with a comic book podcast. If I never saw another firework in my life, I wouldn't miss them. Guys, who didn't love you enough as a child? Hey,
I know.
come on. Open up. You're in a safe space here in the salty tadpole mist.
Alternatively, did somebody love you too much as a child that it's damaged you forever?
Yeah.
I like seeing the fireworks. So far, the idea that Lucy came up with, without the noise, I quite like that idea so far. I'm maybe a little bit biased, because she is a friend. But, you know. Alright, so Tim Dawson, 87. I would say yes, but my cat loves them. He sits in the window and watches them. He's such a weirdo. ... like me. Smiley face.
Well, funny, that reminded me, because Harry Asser used to sit on New Year's Eve and watch the fireworks while Mowgli was running around looking for his safe space.
Aww.
So,
You think that if one cat's fine, the other cat would just have a word with the one that's a little bit scared? Just be like...
And this is what I used to keep saying to her. I said, come on, have a word. Tell him it's all right. So,
It's like, no, it's all right, Dad.
yeah.
But then I have to share the view.
Yeah. Yes. I don't like sharing. I'm an only child. I don't like this other one.
I'm such a daddy's girl. Anyway, James.
Yes, so we've got better than Robin Hood podcasts at Robin Hood Pod saying, I'd prefer public displays only. I feel for people's pets. So, yeah, similar to what we've already been saying.
Yep.
Thank you. Thank you for feeling the love for my cats.
Yes. And my non-existent cat.
Yes.
Yes.
So, Penance RPG said, public displays only, including Diwali and other festivals. No fireworks sold to general public. Too many idiots or malicious.
Hear, hear.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think we're all in agreement of all of these. Did you want to read the next one, Andy? Because this was your soulmate.
Yeah. Wayno_Evans, man after my own heart.
Yeah.
I think there is a big lack of control and common sense around the general public having fireworks. Happy for them to be let off on the 5th or the weekend prior. I'd also be happy to abolish bonfire night if it means we could put Halloween in the bin too. If I could just add Christmas and Easter and any other occasion where we're expected to be happy and joyful and socialise. Yes.
So basically, Wayno needs a hug.
No, Wayno is fine as he is.
Andy needs a hug, maybe.
Yeah.
Nah, they'll both be fine. Okay, so bring on the weird. And that is, I think fireworks are becoming too easily obtained by the public. That's not going to change until enough people. Hold on. That's not going to change until enough people maim themselves or worse.
This is the me and Mel situation all over again with Robin.
Yeah.
This is not going to change until enough people.
For the record, Mel is actually his partner. But
Excellent.
yeah, but I wasn't here to tell you that. So,
Yeah.
So that's not going to change until enough people, I'm going to take up the first people, enough people maim themselves or worse. I enjoy public displays when they are done safely. I think they should stay.
So, the next person is Jeff Faitner at Fighter. He says, and I like this, replace them all with drone displays. I kid. Responsible private use, responsible safe public displays, fireworks bring joy.
Yeah.
And then there's another one underneath, politics with dummies. And I really, really, really like this person, the response. Darwinism at its best. It's just once a year, let's thin the herd, make them bigger. It's like reverse purge where idiots hurt themselves. Fucking A.
Yep.
I agree with that 100%. In fact, I'm going back on it. Can we just have more fireworks so these people will get rid of themselves and thin out the inbred levels of population?
I'll take the one with the short fuse, please.
I'd just give them something without a fuse at all, actually.
Do you do leg straps for them? I want to learn to fly.
Yeah. Hold the flame to the firework and just keep holding the flame.
A.R. Vaughan at Alison Ross ...
I was going to say there's actually 2 for her.
Yeah.
Wow, there's a lot, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, she wrote an essay, didn't she?
There's actually a picture just behind. So the bottom of the stream is in the middle of the 2 pictures. Soz. Did you realise?
Yeah. And this is at Alison Rose 82, as I've just found the screen grab with her full handle in.
Yeah.
So do I start with... Which one do I start with, Jem? The one with 2 or the John with 1?
I think it's the one I'm in the US and I can't stand all the fireworks.
That makes sense, yeah.
I'm in the US and I can't stand all... That doesn't rhyme. Oh, well. I'm in the US and I can't stand all the fireworks that linger in the private neighbourhoods after July the 4th. I think that's the sound effect for that Logicon.
That was perfect.
Yeah. In case you didn't catch that the first time.
Now Andy's got snot all over his mic.
Yeah. Gemma's favourite noise, snot.
Sticky.
Get your tissue out and blow your nose. Yeah.
I work midnights, so I'm awake when the local heathens are shooting off all the leftovers, but my dogs are terrified and he makes me want to throat punch my neighbours. Nice. Plus, they're actually not sold in my state. We can only buy sparklers and little poppers here or illegally bring in the big ones from neighbouring states. If someone wants to be an idiot and blow off their fingers, they should get a licence to buy them so they can't sue. So they should get a license to buy them so they can't sue Gunpowder for doing what it's supposed to do, an end rant.
Hey, gringo!
Yeah.
Buy my fireworks, see?
So, I think this is the last one of the Twitter ones. So,
Yeah.
bottom of the stream at bots_podcast. I think you should have to have a license to buy them. The fact that anyone can just walk into a shop and buy an explosive is ridiculous. No issue with public displays as long as they are ran well.
Well said.
Yeah, very well said.
Although the license, I don't think I'd get a license, so I might say no to the license.
Yeah. And then I think the next one is Owen Edmondson. So,
Yeah. Owen has taken a different view. He says, no, as someone who has always owned pets, cats and dogs, I understand that they can suffer during bonfire season. However, as the owner, you should know how to take care of your pet during these times. As someone who has taken part in firework competitions and who has put on displays costing over £5,500, he points out it's all his own money.
And he's a sucker.
Yeah, and he's put for the sucker as well. He can assure us that us responsible pyrotechnicians do what we can to fire at appropriate times. And again, this ties into everything we've pretty much been discussing. The question is a wider social one and is indicative of the general shift towards a more socially dysfunctional society. Hence why so many people have antisocial behaviour orders against them. Fair point.
mm-hmm.
I think the salty tadpole secretions have been quite good this week.
Yeah, definitely. I think I think there are a couple of others on Facebook as well, aren't there?
There is one more. I have to read this.
Yeah. Can I just beforehand, because I did post it out to sort of my friends as well. So I've got a tiny little screenshot from my people, Well, anyway,
Your peeps.
but the first one is actually from my mum. So Jenny Williams.
Hello, Jenny.
Hello. Hello, Pat. Yes, they should only be sold for licensed events. Also, should not be allowed to be let off randomly weeks before and after bonfire night.
Yeah, correct.
Yeah, correct. Yeah. And then the other one was Bex Thomas. Not necessarily. I think they need to be policed a bit better, but we are lucky enough that our pets aren't bothered by them. So, and then Serena Micklewright, who does this to our show and is one of my closest friends, just wrote, yes. So thank you very much for that, Serena. That was very massive input that you put in there.
Quality response there.
It is. It's a quality. It's a bit of a head scratcher, but it's a quality response.
Yeah. It's not the quality, it's the quantity.
Which was minimal effort.
Yeah.
Yeah, in fact, to be fair, it's lacking on both accounts, isn't it? Quality and quantity.
Yeah. In fact, Serena, get out of the pond.
You've been spat out, Serena.
This is a call to Serena. Please make your way and swim to the exit.
You're going to be drying on the dry land.
Yeah. I think you need to be at the shallow end with the float aids.
Get out of the gene pool.
But again, thank you for participating.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah. Here's your certificate.
Yeah. Well done, you took part, pat on head.
Yeah. Oh, fuck
Everyone's a winner. Everyone's a winner. Pat, pat.
There are no losers. There are no winners either, but there are no losers. Okay, so James, we've delayed it for long enough.
Yep. Deep breath.
All in one breath.
Yeah. Deep breath, because I'm going to need a real big breath for this one. Are we all sitting comfortably, Tadpoles? I'll begin.
Yes.
So, Jamie Vestige Westwood feels passionate about this. Very passionate. It reads as, right, cracks knuckles, so if you can imagine that noise.
Oh,
Yes, most definitely. The light and display of them are wonderful, and firework aren't a bad thing. But, and that's in capitals, people, they aren't suitable for every Tom, Dick and Harry to have them available to them. The noise is ridiculous and causes so much disruption and trauma to human and animal alike. In residential areas you have pets who can be very distressed by the noise to the point where there has been deaths. You may have an argument that says you should be able to control your pet, but you shouldn't need to drug your pet and cause disruption and trauma to them in their home, because people want some pretty lights in the sky. You have babies and children who will be disrupted from their sleep, which is unfair, and will cause knock-on effects to the following day, especially on weekdays, when small children have school the next day. They should be expected to be able to sleep in their beds in their homes, not to be disrupted because people want to see pretty lights. General disruption to people's lives because of the noise. Hell, I had to have the subtitles on the TV the other night because I couldn't hear a word of it. Okay. If people were playing music at silly o'clock in your street and causing disruption, it wouldn't be acceptable, so why is this? Add on to this the constant media you see every year of people getting hurt and burnt and having all sorts of accidents because of improper use of these things. Because let's be honest, as long as you're over 18, any idiot can buy these, and although they should know better, they quite frankly don't. Don't get me wrong, not everyone, but there are people, and it's generally others and not the idiots who get hurt. Okay, I think I understand that.
Yep.
For weeks, you'll find the wooden sticks and plastic tubes on the street, which adds to the litter problem, which has been focused on in recent years. People get fined for dropping gum or fag butts, cigarettes for our American listeners. What about the people responsible for these? There are so many reasons to put a stop to it, and only have it available in pre-arranged displays, and the only reason people can say they want them sold really is because they like the pretty lights. Save the money you'd spent on them and take the family out for a fun evening if you want to see them so bad. Fair point.
Yep.
Can I make a small suggestion?
Yep.
Don't ever go to Germany on New Year's Eve, mate. You're going to have a coronary. You'll have a heart attack. I will post it on Instagram.
Right.
The videos of what I get to see for about 4 hours after the stroke of midnight from my apartment.
And is that from an event that's been set up, or is that just in general? Because I've never been in Germany at the New Year, so...
So the general rule of thumb is there are no rules. If you want to set fireworks off at midnight, fill your boots. You do it in the street, you do it in the back garden, you do it from your balcony. It is your right. And they just go nuts to the point where you see ambulances just weaving around people, and they will actually close off one of the bridges for people to set off fireworks in the street. And yeah, they have fights and everything. They get, because they're all on the beers and stuff. So, and the next day it's just the cleaners are out, and there's just carnage of rockets and the Roman candles and everything.
Not good.
No. Yeah, I mean, kind of sounds fun too, though.
Yeah.
So it sounds like slightly dangerous, but you know, like if you're watching it from the comfort of your bedroom window, you know, it's kind of nice to watch, I guess. But
I would find quite a few discarded rockets that have fallen onto my balcony. There were gunpowder marks where they've exploded against the windows. So, yeah, because you know, by midnight, I don't think there was any sober people left in Germany.
No.
So they're all handling explosives. You know, but it's you'll see from the footage, it is a sight to behold.
I'd definitely like to see that. So, you said you put it up on our Instagram page, which is what, Andy?
Is that Codswallop Pod?
Yep. On Instagram.
On Instagram, or Andy just clicks on the Instagram, changes the account.
No, he doesn't.
No, he does, because he's either got his personal one or the Codswallop one. So,
oh, right. Oh, okay.
So he doesn't actually know which is what his handle is. So, but yes,
Right.
with Codswallop Pod, you'll find us. We're the ones with the good fish logo.
Definitely. That might be changing soon. Ooh, exciting. Did you want to read out Alex's as the last one, James?
If I can find it, hang on. I've gone off the...
It's hard to find it underneath Jamie's very long essay, but which, by the way, is my fault, because he did respond with just a yes initially, and I said, no, I'm sorry, Jamie, that is not good enough.
Basically, you let him loose.
Yeah.
Yeah, Alex has probably given a response. Well, I'll give you my response to Alex's comment. So Alex Whiteley said, I say make them bigger and louder. Napalm is illegal to use in war, but what happens when you shoot it into... Goddamn phone, hang on. When you shoot it into the sky? Fuck Roman candles, I want Rambo's Gatling gun, and with 500 of these bad boys shot with ferocity. giant Wicker Man-style effigies to burn and drugs. Lots of drugs. So, upon reading this, my response to him was, who took Alex Whiteley's meds? Come on, confess and return them to him.
It was a very good response. I liked it. Well, I think personally that is a good place to end this episode. So I think we've been talking enough Codswallop. I have been Gemma.
On that bombshell, I have been James.
I have been Andy, and you have been the Salty Tadpoles.
Salty Tadpoles.
Yay! Salty Tadpoles. Salty Tadpoles. Salty Tadpoles. Salty Tadpoles. That's your name.
Tadpoles, I am sorry for that. We will do our best to never let that happen again.